Hi, this is Chance Beam, Titan Sports Academy. We had our survey go out for all the players and parents, I think it was probably about 2 weeks ago. And we wanted to make sure that you guys know that you've been heard. A lot of that information we found to be very valuable, and we're working right now on that. But I want to give you an update on some of the information that we found through that survey. One of those things that we talked about during the banquet is that we really started to reevaluate kind of who we are as an organization. What does that mean, and what does that mean to you guys as well? At the banquet, we kind of relaunched, if you will, or re-updated, I guess would probably be a better way, our mission statement. Our mission statement, the first thing is going to be kind of our new put together mission statement is going to be, the first thing is our core value set. Accountability, responsibility, attitude, and effort will always be part of our organization. Two, we're looking at a best value proposition from a parent's standpoint. What are we going to do as an organization to make sure we have the best value proposition to be on our teams? That's going to be from a development standpoint, that's going to be from a service standpoint, and also a value proposition of what you're paying to be on our teams and what you're getting in turn. The last part of that, last two aspects of that is going to be development. We're going to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to develop your young men and ladies to the best of their abilities to help them play at the very highest level, from base running to hitting to throwing and the like. So we're going to do everything that we can. We're going to continue to grow and develop our winter workout programs, private lessons that we're offering, as well as camps. Last one is that we're never going to get away from developing champions for baseball and, more importantly, life. And because we understand that 100% of all these guys and ladies, if they do meet their very highest dreams that they could ever hope to attain, they're still going to have to find a job in something. And we want to make sure that we equip those people to be successful in life as well as the sport that they've chosen to do. A couple of things that we have talked about and that we wanted to continue to grow and add and develop value to the parents is our Titans TV. If you guys will go to our website, titansnation.net, you will see that we have Titans TV tab on there. What that platform is based around is for things just like this, so that we can communicate better to you guys as parents and players. Keep in mind that Titans TV is 100% free to all of our team members, and again, to add knowledge and communication to you guys, so we can have a platform to communicate to you guys as well as add knowledge. On there right now you will see everything from our throwing program that we had a couple weeks ago to over about 60 different videos that we have through RightView Pro that we have access through, as well as videos that we have on there from deceleration to other videos that we'll be adding going forward. One of the things that came up in the surveys were our winter workout program and how that's going to work. With baseball and softball, winter workout program is included in all of our team fees, and we're going to look at, with the weather cooperating, if you will, we're going to do that inside and outside with either ATP, our high school fields. If weather does get too cold or wet, we can't come inside, so we've definitely looked at that. Another question that we've gotten quite a bit, and a concern from a lot of parents and families as well, and rightly so, is, where are we at with our number of teams? I would tell you right now that we've seen a tremendous growth over the past year. I'm very proud of the growth that we've had. Obviously, that's created some issues along the way, and we understand that. But you guys have to know that our maximum number of teams that we have in this organization, as it's set up right now, we're looking at about 24 to 25 teams as a maximum number. With the floor space that we have, the field space that we have, that's where we want to get to. So, but moving forward, are there going to be some adjustments in the number of teams at older age groups, younger age groups, softball and the like? There's definitely going to be some of that. So we're going to evaluate how do we do that and have the best possible organization that we can and compete at the very highest levels at all those different age groups. So that's definitely something that we are addressing and will be continually addressed over this next year and the years beyond. With that, one of the questions that we get quite a bit through the survey as well is, how do we evaluate our consistency within the program? For example, how do we teach pitching? How do we teach hitting? How do we teach infield? How do we teach base running on the baseball and the softball side? So the way that we've designed that, and I talked a little bit about that at the banquet, is that in the month of December and January, Mr. Scott White, he was a Walton High School grad, first round draft pick, Boston Red Sox, tremendous individual, is out of baseball and wants to get back into it, has a ton of baseball knowledge. His job during those months of December and January will be helping those coaches to do the very best they can with their field time, with their indoor time, and try to utilize the facilities to the highest and best use as possible. I'm really, really excited about him coming on board. One of the things that I'm looking forward to myself is during the months of February, March, and April, I don't have a younger team, so it'll be my job to making sure that I'm doing quality control on our coaches, players, and practices. I can't be everywhere all the time, but I'm going to try my best to see pretty much every single team on a consistent basis and making sure that I'm a resource to those coaches. Angie will be doing the same thing on the softball with the 10s, 12s, and 14s. Incredibly excited about that part of the program's going and what their future holds as well. One of the things that I also want you guys to know is on October 27th, next Monday, we will be having a mandatory coaches meeting for every coach in the program on the baseball side. I know Angie's going to have her separate date for the 10s, 12s, and 14s for softball, but on October 27th, anybody that's going to be in a dugout in our organization, it's a mandatory coaches meeting, and we're going to cover how do we utilize our indoor side. Space. How do we utilize our field space, as well as how do we teach pitching, how do we teach hitting, how do we teach fielding. Winter workouts, as most of you guys may not understand, our winter workouts for us, is, in my opinion, becomes a bit of a watershed approach to development. In that, obviously, we're working with our players and trying to get them the very best we can, but we're also, me as an organizational head, are looking at our paid coaches and watching those guys and how they interact with our dads and guys that are coaching some of the younger teams. One, how they're interacting with those guys. How are my paid coaches teaching that? And it helps me QC those guys, as well as an opportunity for our dads or other assistant coaches that are in our organization to watch our paid coaches and myself teach hitting, pitching. And so we don't just look at saying, hey, we're going to have one date for all of our guys and do a mandatory training, and now, all right, we're done and walking away. Every time we're together, it's an opportunity for me as organizational head and our coaches to work with all the coaches in our organization, ask questions, look at how it's being taught and presented so that there are some levels of consistency throughout our seasons and practices and games. And going back to the surveys, another huge question that I get quite a bit is, where are we at from a cost standpoint? I think it's a very valid question, and I've done a tremendous amount of research. From the ages of 8 to 18, what I would give anybody, and I would tell anybody, we are not going to be the cheapest, and we are not going to be the most expensive from a large stretch. I feel, as I said earlier, part of our mission statement is to create a value proposition so that our parents and players, yes, it's expensive to play travel baseball. That is never going to change. However, at the end of the day, I want our parents and families to look at and say, this is what I paid. Wasn't the most, wasn't the cheapest, but what I got out of it was unrivaled. And I think that's the part of the organization that I'm really, really proud of, and kind of what we've been able to do in the past and what we're going to continue to do in the future. One of the things that we've done that are payment options this year, and I know what all the other organizations in town and how they do their payment options. One of the things that I think that we've added this year that I think was outstanding, and a lot of the families are taking advantage of it, are our payment plans where we can do auto draft on certain days of the month and how that works. Back to the survey again, a lot of the parents had asked, or they had kind of had a concern as to why we only allowed for maybe 4 or 5, 6 months to collect that money. And I think many of the parents not understanding, not that they don't know, it's just you don't know what you don't know many times. And one of the things that when we set up this organization and all travel teams, this is just not us, but all travel teams, you're going to have uniforms. And those uniform sizing day, I think, is coming up in November. And in that sizing day, we're going to get all that stuff and we're going to make that order. And as soon as it comes in, it's got to get paid. Cleats, balls, helmets, and the like. So there's a ton of expenses in that. You've got, for the teams that are under 13, they all have their lessons included. So 12 and under, we all have our lessons included in our team fees because they have one annual fee. All of those five private lessons are available to every single one of those players today. You also got winter workout fee. And again, that winter workout for the younger guys under 12 will be over by the middle of December. You've got our uniforms, you've got balls, you've got equipment, you've got your major tournaments that you want to enter early. So we look at it, and from a number standpoint, most budgets, of the 100% that's allotted for that team budget, 60 to 70% of that budget is paid out by the end of January minimum. I can tell you personally, for our older age group, 16s and 18s, we are already paying and entering for almost 80% of our tournaments by the end of December 31st. Now, I know that that is a little different for some of the younger age groups, but for the older age groups, I could tell you today what our schedule is going to be for the next 3, 4, or 5 years. So understanding the finances is not that we're stretching ourselves thin and asking for money too soon that we need it. It's that we have to have the money on hand so that when we order those uniforms and those balls and those equipment and hats, those things are paid for. As a organization, we don't carry debt, and I don't think that it's prudent for us as a company to stretch ourselves too thin, and so to hopefully explain as to reason why we ask for the monies when we ask for it. Another question going to the survey, and a question I get quite a bit, talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room. People ask me about our $30 membership fee. Our $30 membership fee, while it's different than most organizations here in town, it's actually a way that I felt like that we could do a service for the parents and actually do it in probably the most appropriate way possible. Let me explain that. One, the $30 a month, you obviously have access, every person that is a member, both on teams and non-member, have access to our facility inside, and with the purchase of an access card can have 24-hour access to this facility, which there's something to be said. Instead of paying the $29.95 to go to a gym, we have a gym here that allows these guys, some adults or older guys, to be able to come in and get the workout in, as well as be able to hit, throw, and the likes of from a training aspect. The other parts of that is that we've just added Titan TV. So all of our members, part of that $30 a month, it's offset by a little bit of the Titan TV. It helps to offset some of the cost that's incurred through that. But through that Titan TV is, again, to add value to some of our clients that are in Boston, Macon, Alabama, Florida, and Tennessee and like. So it's a way that we can reach out to our clients that are a little further away, that may only be 30, 45 minutes away, but because of a busy schedule, they know they can't get to the academy. So it's a way that we can add value and them feel as if they're getting something for that $30. And I understand, and we want to try to do everything that we can for that. The other thing you got to keep in mind, insurance is incredibly expensive in travel baseball. So obviously the $30 are covering that. And last but definitely not least, all team members or anybody that's a member of the academy, their tryout fee for this year when they came in or going into the next summer will be absolutely free. So there's a big deal there. I know other organizations, they're going to hit you with maybe as minimum of as much from $50 to $100 tryout fee, even if you were on a team from last year. We don't have that included. Many of the organizations are going to hit you with a $150 to a $250 registration fee on an annual basis, and that doesn't matter if you play 3 months, 6 months, or 9 months. You got to pay that annual registration. If your son gets hurt, there's going to be no refund. So we felt like doing the $30 a month allowed for someone to be able to, if they did get hurt, well, we stop that payment if guys get hurt. Or if they leave the organization, we're stopping at that point in time, and now they don't have a sunken cost that's non-refundable. So we felt like that was the best possible way that we could approach that animal. The winter workouts, I know one of the questions with winter workouts is, can we get on the field? This year we're definitely going to look at being able to get on the field with winter workouts. We'll have obviously Titan Sports Complex for the younger teams, the older teams. If weather allows, we're going to try to get up to Woodstock or Creeview High School. We're going to obviously look at that and try to have to make calls early enough in the week so we can communicate to everybody where those are going to be and making sure we're doing it in the right way. With that thing as well, field time always becomes a question with the younger age groups, especially going into the fall. I know we just started having tournaments over at Titan Sports Complex 2-3 weeks ago. Up until that point in time, we did have our fall developmental league that was out there on maybe Wednesday or Thursday night, but that was only one time a week. So all of our teams had access to a minimum at least 2 field time practices per week. Now we know that a lot of teams had football players and the like, but they definitely had access to that field, and that will again become the case once we get through our field schedule or tournament schedule through, I think it cuts off actually this weekend, or maybe we have a couple more weekends, but once that cuts off, all the teams will have access midweek as well as weekend field times outside of our winter workouts, obviously, and I know that'll be a big amount of work that the guys have to take on there. Last thing that I want to cover is our Poinsettia sales, which is a huge opportunity for our teams we haven't offered in the past, so that our teams and players can potentially try to offset some of the cost that does go into travel baseball. I'm sending it out to our older guys as well, because I truly do believe that accountability, responsibility, attitude, and effort are a huge part of development as a player. Older guys especially, typically in the past, don't do fundraiser. Younger teams do. We felt like this was an opportunity for our teams to be able to do fundraiser, to be able to offset some of the team's costs. And moms and dads, I'm going to ask you, make little Johnny or Jenny go out there and do those fundraisers, because you guys are kind of wearing the burden of a lot of this, and hopefully they can help you offset some of those costs. But with the smaller plants, they are $17 for total cost. The forms have to be in by November 10th. We'll pick up poinsettias on December the 5th. And 100% of all the money's made is going right back to player fees. And if you paid in full, we're going to cut you a check right back to you. So don't let that dissuade you if you decide that you do want to do that. Smaller plants, $17 you make. The player makes $7 per plant. The larger plants are $25, and the player will actually make $10 per plant. Those are outstanding. I know a good friend of mine, Mike Naiman at Creeview High School, they've done it for the last 10 years. They've had guys sell as much as a couple $1,000s and make a couple $1,000s for the program. So it's definitely something that's readily available, and it's been proven with a track history of success. I thank you for listening to my long-winded message, and again, thank you so much for being part of our organization. Thank you for your time. 1TAT.